Hello, it is 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition. For tonight headlines, we have new schools open in Dekhel. For the international scene, the World Food Programme's hopes of feed 1 million people in Gaza. Welcome to our newsroom. On Tuesday, January 21, the National Assembly, on the initiative of His Excellency Dileita Mohammed Dileita, Speaker of the National Assembly, was honored to welcome pupils from Hall Elementary School, accompanied by their principal, headmaster Wahiba Umar Farah, the teaching staff, and several parents on educational and pedagogical visit. During the day, the pupils had the privilege of meeting His Excellency Dileita Mohammed Dileita, who warmly welcomed them. He took the opportunity to explain the importance of the National Assembly in the democratic systems, as well as its essential role as a legislative institution and a place where citizens are represented. Alongside the President of the Assembly, the Honorable Madam Safiya Almi, the first Vice President, as well as the Honorable Saleban Daher, Secretary of the Bureau, and several members of the Parliament, notably Nim Abdulhan, Kaltun Farah, Hassan Umar, Ilyas Ahmed, Umar Wabiri, actively participate in the exchanges with the students and their accompanying adults. On the administrative side, Mr. Ismail Gulad, Secretary General of the National Assembly, accompanied by senior parliamentary staff, also contributed to the success of the day, provided valuable insight into the working of the institutions after Aguadi Towers, the parliamentary facilities. The students, their teachers and parents expressed their thanks to His Excellency Dileita Mohammed Dileita. A delegation of the Indian businessmen led by His Excellency Ambassador of Djibouti to India, Mr. Isa Abdullahi Asowe, was received yesterday at the Ministry of Finance. The meeting, chaired by Ilyas Musa Dawale, took place in the presence of the Director General of the Ministry's various departments and his close collaborators. During the discussion, the member of delegation exchanged views with the Ministry officials and current projects and programs relating to economic and development. Urban topics covered included social, sustainable urban development, investment opportunities in the sector. The visit reflects the growing interests of international investors in supporting the Djibouti government effort to realize its vision for economic development. A delegation of Indian businessmen led by His Excellency the Ambassador of Djibouti to India, Mr. Isa Abdullahi Asowe, was received yesterday at the Ministry of Town Planning and Housing. The meeting, chaired by Madam Amina Abdi Aden, the Minister of City and Urbanism, took place in the presence of the Director General of the Ministry's various departments and her close collaborators. During the discussions, the member of the delegation exchanged views with the ministry officials on current projects and programs relating to housing and urban planning. Topics covered including social housing construction, sustainable urban development, and investment opportunities in this sector. The visit reflects the growing interests of international investors in supporting the Djibouti government's effort to realize its visions for housing and urban development. The Minister of National Education, Vocational Training, Mustafa Muhammad Mahmoud, accompanied by UNICEF representative Ms. Bite Dastel, the representative of the NGO Qatar Charity Gaza Izzeddin Ahmed, and senior MERFOP staffs began at hours of the country of interior regions in Dekhel on Sunday. The aim of this initiative is to inaugurate new schools built over the past 2 years to share with the population the government's effort to broaden and democratize access to education, and to step up awareness campaign on specific issues such as girl enrollment, the reintegrations of out-of-school children through the accelerated education programs and inclusive education for children with special needs. During his tour, the minister intends to remind rural populations of the importance of guaranteeing access to school for all by overcoming social, cultural, and economic barriers in order to build a more equitable and inclusive society. The tower began with the inaugurations of the General High School of Mulud, built in 2023. The brand new General High School of Mulud is today a symbol of progress and educational proximity. It accommodates 117 students and offers local young people the opportunity to study close to their families. Thanks to this infrastructure, people can now study in their own locality, an advantage that has contributed significantly to improve their academic results. The school's baccalaureate pass rate reached 85% last year, a remarkable figure that testifies to the positive impact of local education. Following the inauguration, the minister met with the school's management committee and representative of the local population. The latter expressed their gratitude for efforts made by MENFOP to guarantee inclusive and accessible education. In her speech, the UNICEF representative underlined the success of MENFOP initiative, pointed out that these school infrastructure are the fruit of a collective effort. This is a tangible proof, she said, that investment in education is bearing fruit, and we are proud to support this effort. On the sidelines of the inauguration, the Minister of National Education, Vocational Training held talks with the region's elders and traditional authorities. During these exchanges, the minister highlighted the efforts made by the government to improve access to education in this region, notably through the construction of modern infrastructure and strengthening of educational programs. Since 2016, he said that the Dakhel region has seen the construction and equipping of 19 additional schools, 5 high schools, 6 middle school, and 8 elementary schools, and most of these has been located in remote localities, in line with the objectives of democratizing access to education and bringing educational services closer to vulnerable population. Enrollment has risen from 9,263 in 2016 to 11,343 in 2025, an increase of 22%, and the baccalaureate pass rate has risen from 39% in 2016 to 51% in 2024. After Mulud, the delegation visited the village of Abaitu to inaugurate the integrated rural school, an innovative project designated to transform education into the driving forces for local development. Also in Dakhel, the minister and his accompanying delegation visited a library initiated by EVE of Dakhel Association, located close to the middle schools. These facilities offers people invaluable access to over 3,000 books covering a wide range of subjects. This initiative represents a major opportunity for the region's middle school students, enabling them to enrich their knowledge and develop their taste for reading in a stimulating and accessible setting. Following this meeting, the minister traveled to Sankal, where he inaugurated a new high school, a brand new facility that offers students a favorable learning environment in line with the national educational standards. On arrival, he was warmly welcomed by an enthusiastic community of parents, local elders, and students. For his part, the Minister of National Education urged the parents to take good care of this infrastructure and to keep a close ease on their children's schooling. He also recalled that education remains the pillar of sustainable development and called for a collective mobilization to protect and enhance what has already been achieved. Together, we are building the future of our country, a future where every child will have the chance to blossom through education, he said. The minister also announced the construction in the Dakhel town of a center dedicated to the education of children with special needs, underlining the importance of inclusive education. In addition, the minister called on customary authorities to play an active role in raising awareness among community, particularly those living in remote localities, in order to overcome persistent reluctance to send girls to school, a crucial issue for the equitable development of the region. For his part, the Minister of National Education and Vocational Training, Mustafa Muhammad Mahmoud, urged the population to enroll all children, especially girls, as they represent, he said, the future and the pillar of the community. He also called on residents to ensure the proper use and preservation of the school so that it can serve present and future generations in the long term. The Minister of Muslim Affairs and Waqf Momin Hassan Barri undertook unofficial missions to Jeddah from January 12 to 19, 2025 on the occasions of the International Hajj Conference and Exhibition. The Minister was accompanied by the Consul Ali Mi'ad, the Ministry's representative in Jeddah, Usman Farah Ruqiyeh, the Director of Muslim Affairs Ismail Hassan Roble, the Administrative and Financial Director Ms. Ikram Ige Usman. The main objective of this mission was to optimize the organizations of the Hajj 2025 for Djiboutian pilgrims. Several meetings visited and exchanges enabled us to strengthen our collaborations with the Saudi authorities and services provided. During his meeting with the Minister of Hajj, discussions focused on improvement services for Djibouti pilgrims and the possibility of increasing their quota for the 2025 season. These discussions led to the signing of an agreement setting out the terms and conditions for the organizations of the Hajj 2025. As part of the drive to improve logistics, the Minister and his delegation visited Mina to validate and reserve the camp intends to accommodate Djibouti pilgrims during the key days of the Hajj. The visit provided an opportunity to check the conformity of the facilities and the quality of the tents. The Minister also inspected the apartment intended to accommodate Djibouti pilgrims in Mecca, paying them attention to the criteria of comfort and proximity to the Al Haram Mosque. The visit was part of a drive to ensure adequate living conditions and facilitate the performance of the rites. Afterwards, the Minister took part in the International Hajj Conference and exhibitions where he had the opportunity to exchange views with the numerous players in the sector. This meeting encouraged the sharing of experience and best practices, reinforcing Djibouti's positions in terms of Hajj management. Memorandum of Understanding between CNSS National Social Fund and As-Salam International Hospital on January 21, 2025. A ceremony to sign a Memorandum of Understanding between Djibouti National Security Social Security Fund and Al-Salam International Hospital was held at the Djibouti Embassy in Cairo. The event took place under the supervision of His Excellency Ahmed Ali Barre, Ambassador of the Republic to Egypt and Permanent Representative to the Arab State League. The ceremony was also marked by the participation of an official delegation from the CNSS, which will facilitate the coordination and support of patients evacuated to Egypt. This strategic agreement is of major importance in CNSS effort to guarantee access to quality medical care while optimizing the cost associated with the medical evacuations of affiliate patients. Thanks to this partnership, new opportunities are opening up to offer competitive and accessible healthcare services to Djiboutian citizens, reinforcing CNSS's mission to promote the well-being of its affiliate. The General Director of the National Tourism Agency, Mr. Osman Abdi Muhammad, this morning received in his office a delegation of Chinese investors with a mega project to promote tourism in the Republic of Djibouti, in particular on the Mushha and Maskali Island. The meeting provided an opportunity to discuss the realizations of this tourism project, which would transform the situations in the Republic of Djibouti, particularly in the tourism sector. The General Director of the Djibouti Tourism Agency, Mr. Osman Abdi Muhammad, led the delegation to the Red Sea Hotel, where they were received by senior officials from the port authorities. Without further ado, the Chinese delegation was taken to the port to view a new quay that will be built to serve as a departure of a berthing point for ships bound for the Mushha and Maskali Island. This mega project, carried out by a Chinese group, involves the development and enhancement of several tourist sites, namely Mushha Island and Maskali Island. The chairman of the National Human Rights Commission, Ali Subhani Ataye, accompanied by Ms. Khair Muhammad Burhan, Director of Personnel and Budget, Mr. Ismail Hamud Ilmi, Director of Programs and representative of the National Migration Coordination Offices, headed by Colonel Abdul Qadir Ibrahim Gola, embarked on a tour of the various promotions of human rights. The National Human Rights Commissions and the National Migration Coordination Offices have established a solid partnership facilitated by JISE, which enables them to work on the challenges posed by migrations to the host population while preserving migrants' rights as far as possible. This awareness-raising campaign, initiated by the President of the CNDH with the financial support from JISE as part of the better management migration programs, which will run for a week and will enable the Commission to visit the various regional capitals. The President of the CNDH and the team, led by the President of the CNDH, visited the various regional councils and the prefectures of the Tajura and Obok, where it was received respectively by the President of the Tajura Regional Council, Mr. Omar Hussein, the President of the Obok Regional Council, Muhammad Hamad Ismail, and the Deputy Prefect of the Tajura, Mr. Abdul Qadir, the Prefect of Obok, Adam Musa Adam Migane. The chairman of the National Human Rights Commission explained the ins and outs of the week, which aims to raise awareness of human rights among the general public. The President of the Regional Council and the Prefect all emphasized their willingness to support the CNDH in its quest to promote human rights. On Tuesday, January 21, a mission led by His Excellency the Ambassador of the Republic of Djibouti to India, Mr. Issa Abdullahi Asowe, visited the Obok region. The mission was made up of Indian businessmen prospecting for investment opportunities in the Republic of Djibouti in general and in Obok in particular. On arrival in Obok, the delegation was welcomed at the jetty by Musa Adam Migane, the prefect of the region, Muhammad Hamad Ismail, the president, and the mission is led by our ambassador to India is interested in the future SPA project. Then in the offices of the president of the council after the prefect welcomes Muhammad Hamad Ismail gave a presentation of the SPA project supported by the Obok Regional Council. After the first phase of studies of area, the initial results are interesting in terms of quantity and quality of spring waters. He pointed out that this first phase of the studies was financed by the ADIL programs and that these studies are being carried out with the expertise of the Charente Maritime region. For the international scene, the UN World Food Program said on Sunday that it was working to provide food to as many Gazans as possible after the truce reopened crossing. The initial 42 days truce between Israel and Hamas is supposed to allow an influx of humanitarian aid into the Palestinian territory, which is in desperate need of it after 15 months of war. The agreement is for 600 trucks a day, and I understand that the first part of this aid will be humanitarian. All crossing points will be open, said Mr. Scow. The first World Food Program's trucks entered Gaza on Sunday via the Kerem Shalom crossing in the south and the Zikrim crossings in the north, the agency said in a statement. And to close up this edition, Donald Trump returns to the White House. Mr. Trump alluded to several executive orders in his first speeches after being sworn in. Donald J. Trump returned to offices on Monday, becoming the 47th president of U.S. in what he called a historic political comeback. Mr. Trump promised to restore free speech by ending government censorship. And this is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.